Hey there, LEGO fam. I'm Justin, and you're watching Good Life Bricks. Thank you so much for joining me again today. I'm looking forward to going through a couple more sets from 2024 with you. And one of the sets that we have remaining is LEGO Star Wars set 75392, the Creative Play Droid Builder set. This is a really unique set and not something that I really ever thought that I would pick up. But the droid builds were so compelling, and young Princess Leia was a part of the 25th anniversary collection, and I wanted to make sure to get all of them. These droids I thought were really cool, and the more I thought about it and the more I looked at them, I thought, well, this is a set that I think is worth the time and the effort, and so I went ahead and picked it up. Now, I'll tell you why I didn't think I was going to get it as we're looking at the droids and some of the individual pieces and parts that came with them. But it's just a very unique set, and so anyway, we'll get into that. Before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that, and it would help me out a lot and help the channel out quite a bit. So let's go ahead and dig in. So this is set 75392, the Creative Play Droid Builder set. There are extra parts and pieces that make this creative, and I'm not really a big fan of those, but I will show them to you briefly as a part of the review. The main components of the set, however, start with young Princess Leia. She's part of the 25th anniversary celebration and collection, and along with her comes her droid known as Lola. She was one of the final parts of the 25th anniversary collection, and of course I was going to pick her up, and she's a good minifigure, and it's the first time that we've seen young Leia. So the remainder of the set consists of these 4 droids. Of course, everyone knows R2-D2. He's been in like every Star Wars movie ever made, at least made an appearance, and is known and beloved. Chopper is a part of the animated show Rebels, and then we saw him in live action in the Ahsoka series, and he belongs to Hera Syndulla, and she is a rebel pilot and a rebel leader, and this is her droid. He is known as kind of a little bit crazy, a little bit goofy, a little bit of an anger control issue, whatever. Good droid. And I understand that there's a chance that we might be seeing him in a 2024 scale version. If you recall the review I did on the 2024 R2-D2, we should see a chopper in that same scale. So I'm really excited about that one. I've actually been sending a lot of feedback asking for that. So I'm not saying I'm responsible for happening. I'm just glad that it is. And then QTKT, this droid belonged with Aayla Secura, the Jedi Knight, and she was part of the D Squad Special Missions Force during the Clone Wars. Her story is a really cool one, and I told this in a review earlier. Basically, she has a really great story. She was designed after an R2-KT, which was brought forth by a huge Star Wars fan whose daughter was sick. And so Star Wars did something really cool in honor of that, and QTKT is the result of that. And so I just really think that's a cool story, and am a fan of that droid. And then the final droid is R5J2, and he is an Imperial R5 astromech droid. What's cool about him, and the reason that he is known at all, was that he was present when Darth Vader arrived on the Death Star 2 to help them move their construction along. I don't know if you remember from Return of the Jedi early on in the movie, Darth Vader shows up at the Death Star 2 and tells the commander there, "You're behind schedule. The Emperor's not really happy. He's coming for a visit. He's not as forgiving as I am. I'm here to help you get moving." And so this droid was present. Now, the one thing you can see is different is he's got actually got stud shooters down here on his legs, and he's that black color that the astromech or that the Imperial droids are. Let's take a closer look at each of these droids. So the set came with 1,186 pieces, and it cost $100, so it wasn't a bad value. But also at 1,186 pieces, you know, these droids aren't just tiny little builds. I mean, they have a significant number of parts on them. And I thought it was kind of cool. They gave them fully built legs that look very similar to what we would see in the minifigure scale, and they gave them the center leg there. They stayed true to the coloring. The heads turn, the legs can move, the center leg can just pop right out, and so then you have the more normal upright stance. R2 has the rocket boosters on the side, which is a kind of a cool touch, and little details throughout, including the back of the head where he has the other eye and the sensors, and you know, the blue on the top of the dome. It's just a nice build. I mean, it's not as detailed as the build that we saw earlier in the year for the larger scale R2, but it's a good build, and I do like droids in the Star Wars universe, and it's one of the reasons that I thought this is a good set for me to get. Chopper, very similar, but they did a couple things different. That center leg piece actually has a rubber tire on it that spins. So one of the things that Chopper often does is he'll spin forward like this and take off on his wheel in the animated show. So they gave him the ability to do that. They also put these arms on the side of his head. Frequently in the show, he'll spin his head around and hit people with the arms. They did a similar kind of larger legs with the bigger shoulders. I think that bothered some people. I don't think it's that big a deal. I can see where you could maybe make a little bit smaller leg as you look just at that center body area, if the leg were just a little bit smaller, but I think it looks fine. The white top on the top of his head, and then the dark orange and orange coloration and white throughout his body. I think he looks good. I think, you know, it's exactly what you would expect a smaller scale Chopper to look like. With QT, her color is pink, and that kind of light and dark pinks and white, and they did a good job with her. She looks exactly like you would expect. Her recent minifigure edition looks very similar. I mean, this has a little more detail, a little more design in it, a little more variation in color. This is a printed piece, as is this on R2. And it's nice to see that. She also has the center leg, and that can be taken on and off. Just a good design. Very similar to R2. Not a lot of difference except for color. And then R5J2, the Imperial astromech, not all that different. A little bit different, you know, the head radar, the dark tan. You've got the light gray or light bluish gray stud shooter here. You've got the center leg, the same legs design on the outside as the other three. The only difference in any of these is that Chopper is shorter than all the other astromechs, and he's shorter in world, so they captured that. But not a lot more to show you. Again, similar head turns and all of that kind of stuff. So there are other pieces to this set, and I'm just going to quickly show you those and maybe explain why I'm not a huge fan. Okay, so the additional pieces were these like designer pieces, and I just think they're goofy. They're definitely for kids, and that's fine. I think they're probably funny, and I don't necessarily get a kick out of them. And I'm not trying to be negative. I just don't buy Star Wars for, you know, rubber ducks and flower hats and goofy glasses and mustache, top hat. That's not the reason I get my Star Wars stuff. And so I just don't have any need for this, which is fine. It's just a, you know, difference of opinions on some of this stuff. But you can add these pieces on and just put them in place, and they stick, and you know, take off the top part of the head and put on the cowboy hat. And I guess it's kind of cute and silly. I'm just not into cute and silly when it comes to my Lego Star Wars. So those are the additional pieces. Some of it is comical when you first see it, like when you first take the bottom portion of the body off of R2 and you put the duck there, you know, and you're like, okay, that's goofy. But that's just not really something that I'm into. So I wanted to make sure I showed you all aspects of the set, and so I have done that, but this isn't something that I really want to focus on for my review. There are others out there who have probably done this portion of the review more justice, and I don't mean to come across as negative about it. It's just not a part of Star Wars for me. So my opinion of this set is a little bit mixed. I like the set, I like the droids, and I do display them just up over QT's shoulder where the rest of my droids are in that display case. And I think they look great there. They're smaller scale than the rest of it, but it's not like they look out of place or anything. They just look like different scale of the droids. And I really do like these builds. It was fun to build. It was kind of just a unique set. I don't care, like I said earlier, about the extra pieces. It's not that I like them or dislike them. I just don't care about them. It's not a part of what's important to me about Star Wars. So I choose to focus just on the droids and on Princess Leia and her droid Lola, which, by the way, are each 2 unique minifigures. So what you see right here in front of you, the 4 droids, Princess Leia and Lola, they are worth the $100 to me. I like the looks of them. Yeah, they're maybe a little repetitive, but I think they look good, and I am a fan of this set. As I was talking, I just noticed that R5 is the only one of the droids that doesn't have an eye. Like the rest of them all have that eye. And I thought, oh, maybe I lost it or dropped it or something like that. No, he just didn't have one. So that's interesting. I guess something that makes him a little bit different. But like I was saying, I do like the set, and I do think it was worth the $100. And at 1,100 plus pieces, it's actually a good value at $100. So I like it. It was a fun build, and it's fun to display. So that was my look at 2024's Lego Star Wars set 75392, the Creative Play Droid Builder set. I think it's a good set. I think it's fun, and I think content like this from Lego Star Wars is meaningful and worthwhile. So I bought it and I display it. The extra pieces I put in a bag so they don't get lost, and I put them away in storage. So I still have the entire set. I have all the pieces that go with it. I just choose not to display that. And I have a couple tubs, large tubs full of sets that I either don't have room to display, or, you know, maybe I'm not all that interested in displaying right now. And I think I can rotate things in and out as needed. I choose to leave those extra pieces aside. It's just not part of my Star Wars experience. But these guys are, and I think they're great. I think, you know, I love R2-D2. I've said that before. I'm a big fan of Chopper, and I'm really excited about the possibility of seeing a larger scale build to match with the R2-D2 C-3PO Chewbacca builds from earlier in 24 and late 23. And then I think the introduction of R5J2 is great, and QT-KT is welcome in any form that Lego Star Wars is able to introduce her to us. So, and then the Leia minifigure and the Lola minifigure are welcome additions. And now my 25th anniversary figure collection is complete. Plus a little bit. I added a little bit to it, and I'll do a little video here and I'll show you that full collection as soon as possible. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for being a part of this journey that I'm on with the Lego Star Wars reviews. I appreciate the community welcoming me, and I would ask, if you enjoyed the video, just hit the like button for me. And if you want to continue to see content, hit the subscribe button, and you won't miss anything. Thanks again for being here. I look forward to seeing you soon.